Kevin Durant is considered one of this generation's most talented basketball players. Not only has Kevin Durant made multiple All-Star appearances, won MVPs, he even won NBA championships, but he's going to finish his career as one of the all-time leading scorers when everything's all said and done. And this guy, at the same time, being one of the most dominant players of this era, he's still been one of the most polarizing players in this era of basketball. What's up, you guys? This is JYoungGo2 back with another video. And in this video, as you see, we will be talking about Kevin Durant. Well, if you don't know, you should know now, hopefully, that the Phoenix Suns season is over and they're going home in the first round, getting swept by the Minnesota Timberwolves. Wow. That is crazy, especially when you look at the expectations that was placed on the Phoenix Suns team this year. The owner pretty much said, screw trying to get more depth on our team and screw trying to do everything that right way. Let's just go out and get another star. So what do? They go out, spend all that money, and acquire Bradley Beal. Now, let's be real. The era of big threes dominating the game, that era of basketball is pretty much over. When you look at the teams and you look at all the rosters today in the NBA and how they're constructed, they have big twos or duos, and they have other guys that play their role really well on the team. What these teams have that what big threes don't have is depth. When the Lakers had Russell Westbrook, Anthony Davis, and LeBron, what is something that they heavily lacked? It was depth. But now, looking at the way their roster constructed, despite them losing, they still have more depth on their roster. And these goes for other teams in the NBA as a whole that have depth. But the key is as well, when you look at it from that perspective as well too, when these teams come to competing and winning for NBA championships, teams now, they're really going out their way to sacrifice draft picks and future assets to acquire these star guys. That's really the key if you really want to win now. That's what the Celtics, that's exactly what they did. They decided they wanted to be in a win-now situation, so they go out, make big trades, and acquire guys that is needed to make this team better. And the Phoenix Suns did the same thing, but when you look at the way this roster is constructed, it's not really built to be a true contender when you lack depth. And looking on top of that, they also re-signed Grayson Allen to a lucrative deal, so he's going to be there for a few years, and he deserves it, though, because he actually played well for them. But when you look at the Phoenix Suns bench as a whole, in the regular season alone, they're the worst scoring bench in the entire NBA, ranking in at about 26.6 points per game off the bench in production. In the playoffs this year, granted it was only 4 games, they ranked 5th in bench score with 21.5, which isn't that bad, but granted, like I said, it was only 4 games that they did play. So one of the main questions that the Phoenix Suns have this offseason is really, what are they going to do? As we all know now, the first guy that has been taking the blame is Frank Vogel. And, I feel really bad for Frank Vogel because he's been in this situation already before, similar with the Lakers. He was the guy that they instantly put the blame on, when in reality, it was just really the way the roster was constructed. It's pretty much the same scenario with this Phoenix Suns team. This team just does not have any depth at all, period. And you're expecting this guy to just find ways to make it work. Like, yeah, Devin Booker was at the point guard this year. Many people were saying, oh, he shouldn't have been at the point guard position this year. But really, he played very well in that position. Yeah, naturally, he's not a point guard, but he did what was asked of him to do. And really, who else would you really want to be that point guard? And then what makes it worse, of course, if you saw the title of this video, is somewhat still about Kevin Durant as well, too. The fact that this man puts the blame on Frank Vogel about his role with the Phoenix Suns just makes it even worse. According to CBS Sports, sources briefed on the matter told The Athletic that Durant never felt comfortable with his role in Phoenix offense alongside Booker and Bill this season. Sources said that Durant had persistent issues with the offense, feeling that he was being regulated to the corner far too often, not having the proper design to play his strengths as the offense was built around pick and rolls. You know what the crazy part about this? Durant, according to CBS Sports again, Durant took the most corner threes of his career, totaling 68 corner three-point attempts. That may not be a lot for guys whose job is to sit around in the corner and knock down threes, but considering the prior season that Kevin Durant averaged 23.2 corner threes over his career, that's a significant rise. And while he was knocking them down at a 46% clip, which is ranked in the 93rd percentile. And I say all of this really to say that this was something that could have already been communicated a while ago if that was really the case. With Kevin Durant not being comfortable with his role, you wait until pretty much the season is over to make Frank Vogel look even worse and to make the situation just even worse in itself. On top of that, making yourself as well not look good in the situation, waiting last minute to blame it on somebody else. Period. I mean, it's just not cool. Think about Kevin Durant, man. It's just making him the whole narrative with him now is just becoming even worse with time. He goes on to the Brooklyn Nets, and they have him and Kyrie at the beginning. Then they get Harden, and then that was a failed super team experience. And, you know, the whole situation with COVID and everything just kind of made things worse. And the team, at one point, they were looking really good, and then it just kind of got worse with time. And then their big three alone only played, like a handful of games together. That whole situation just basically falls apart. And then on top of that, gets traded again to this Phoenix Suns team, trying to prove his point after winning those rings with the Warriors because people didn't take him seriously. And now look, back-to-back years eliminated in the playoffs. Just like that. What makes this situation even worse is Kevin Durant, he's getting older. He's 35 years old now. It's not like he's getting younger than Bradley Beal is 30 years old. These guys are just making so much money. On top of that, the guy who I actually feel genuinely bad for in this situation is Devin Booker, because this man, he's been a part of this Phoenix Suns franchise since day one. He's been with this team since he was drafted, and he's been loyal. Even when people were saying, man, this dude should leave Phoenix when they were really bad, he trusted the process. And now, look, they are a consistent playoff team. But what comes with that now, look, he could have still had that young core of players that he had a long time ago with the Phoenix Suns team. But of course, you go out, you sacrifice, you make moves to do things like this. And now they're not really in the best situation to win. But as far as Kevin Durant goes, man, I don't really think we can really put him in that conversation really with the LeBrons or the Currys. I hate to say that, and that may sound crazy for me to really say. The man is still a champion at the end of the day. He's a Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer, and he's going to finish his career as still one of the best players to ever play this game. But you can't even compare him in the same sentence with the Steph Currys or the LeBron James. At the end of the day, this guy, he joined a team that beat him to win. That was a super team. Nobody was beating them. It was just not even fair. And you go on to try to prove your point that you can win without Steph and Clay and Draymond, but look at what happened. He is not winning. You know, and I hate sounding like this because I sound like I'm really hating or really hard, but I'm just speaking the truth on the matter when it comes to Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is one of the greatest, most talented offensive players that this game has ever seen. And it's really sad that his career is kind of going down in this path. Saying at all that his talent or anything has fallen off the cliff, absolutely not. He's still an extremely talented player, but it's just the fact that he can't really be in a consistent winning situation. Even on his days with the Oklahoma City Thunder, for crying out loud, they made it to the NBA Finals, Conference Finals. They were actually a loaded, great team. And of course, we all know he goes to the Warriors, wins those championships, goes to the finals like almost every freaking year. And now look at him. The man hasn't even made it to a conference final since I believe his days with the Golden State Warriors. But look, man, we shall see what happens really with this Phoenix Suns team. It's definitely going to be very, very interesting to see what they do in the offseason. Bradley Beal, as well, on top of that, has a no trade clause, so that makes the situation even better. So we will see what they do, what direction they decide to go into, because if not, if this roster doesn't get better, because they can only sign, veteran guys, and pretty much the guys who they sign their rookie contracts to, that's really it. So we shall really see what they do with this roster, man. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more basketball content each and every single week. Have a great day. Peace.